It's been a while though.
All right, so let me see here. Give me a check.
Check 1, 1, 2, 5, 7, 6, 9.
A little bit hot.
Uh-oh.
No, that's all right. That's good.
Oh yeah, that thing goes off every...
All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna stand right over here. Kind of look at my hand so I can. Yeah, that'll be good. So instead of looking right at the camera, we're just kind of looking right here.
Well, I'll be looking at you. I'm not gonna try not to look at the camera.
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. But of course, anytime you feel like that's all good stuff because the audience will know that you're talking to them, so let's just start in the beginning. Just go with start out. Just say your name and kind of go into a little bit of how you got into metal music, and then kind of take us into the story of how you got involved with metal bands and that kind of thing.
Well, it all started January 2nd, 1987. No. Eric Beninati, a.k.a. Naughty, I guess. Kind of new name, stage name, if you will, because we all have those now. Grew up not even actually kind of hating music, like growing up, because I don't know if it was just didn't find the right taste. There was only a couple of songs I really liked. What was it, Beach Boys? I like some of that, as you can tell. Found Slipknot somewhere about 6th, 7th grade. Fell in love with Slipknot, Metallica, Rob Zombie, Korn, Mudvayne, just the 90s, just golden era of metal, if you ask me. Never went to the scene, never went to the rock shows or anything. Followed other, life trails, all kinds of crazy stuff. Found myself working at Ace Hardware, where I met this man, Greg Sachs, who would always go off about, oh, my guys are music, they're really good, you should see them, they're always performing big. I'm like, it's like everybody out there, right? About 3 months go by, I finally go. And I go to, it was either a Glow show, I feel like it was a Glow show. I know it was one of the first ones I ever went to was a Glow show. I was instantly hooked. I saw everybody getting involved. The bands had it wasn't just like their girlfriends, it was like buddies. It was fans, roadies, you could just leave the table there and nobody would mess with any of the merchandise or anything. You'd have people watching the table for you, like just, so nothing ever happened. I don't ever remember any sort of situation like that. That was 8 years ago, I'll say, give or take a little bit. I know Animus Divine was their last show, was one of my first shows there. So if any of you guys know the date of that, that's what that would be. Fell in love with the scene. Basically, was just the guy with the camera. Kind of, I hate that now at the shows. Everybody, experiencing it through your thing, and just I get a couple little videos or something. They got professionals for this, right? Just pay attention to the show. Besides, you break your phone. My phone went through 3 years of the ruin. So sorrows ruin, whatever. Still worked. It's great. Lost my phone. Number of times they always gave it back to me. People, it was a great scene. Just all these people, just great people. Was the roadie for, I guess you'd call it, the fan who became a friend, who became a member of a band somehow without ever playing an instrument in my life. But I had the connection, I could play with the crowd and stuff. So that's how I found myself in the room. But before that, I was local roadieing, and promoting, networking on Facebook and that sort of deal. A couple years, Stack Styles, and then I'm not going to start with names. Stanza Fist, obviously, Lethal Injection. Helped out those guys a lot. A Fall to Break. Worked with Nate and Isabel for a couple years. Did the originated designs. That was fun. Got involved in the crowd and just kept snowballing. And then I saw Sorrow's Ruin one day. And I grew up watching Mad Max films like, since I was little, and I fell in love. Like, oh, these guys are cool, and they were actually really good guys. You know, they weren't like your stereotypical, like you see guys like that, you think they're a bunch of monsters or something. They were gentle giants, gentle monsters. Helped out with them as much as I could because I just loved their shows. Their crowd, their fans showed up with spikes and stuff, and I already had an outfit because I was doing, you know, costume previous life stuff, and I said, I'm gonna wear my outfit to the show. Is that cool? He said, oh yeah, look, we got guys that do it. I'm like, cool. So I came in decked out and did that for a couple of times and watched the merch booth, did that kind of thing. And then there was the KFMA Day, Battle for KFMA Day. One of many battles of mine. Those were such good shows. Anyway, they were up against a Fall to Break and Stands with Fists. Who else? Damn. Sorry. And then it was like underdog situation. And nobody thought that Sorrow's Ruin was going to win, but they ended up winning. And the next day, basically, well, like, you know, they played the next weekend, right? You've been there. Were you there? You were in there? Okay, that's right. I remember you. I remember that picture. God, I was going through photos, and it was wild just trying to remember everything that happened in the last decade. The guys showed me pictures. Hey, got your backstage pass and come down the show. Get here early. Bring your gear and stuff. Oh, cool, man. That's what I thought I was gonna like help them out, carrying stuff, right? Roadie, you know, May Monkey, go get, you know, help with this. Get there and you call him Even because at the time he was Even. Stage names, performance names. Sorry. Has a flag, the big original T-staff thing I would carry around. That's the ruin on it. And I was like, that's cool. He's like, yeah, you like that? That's yours now. You're gonna get up on stage with us, right? And like, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna say no. You know, fake it till you make it, right? Learn something along the way. If you fail, then you're in the same spot if you said no. So yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I didn't know their songs very well. Like, so I wasn't singing along, didn't have a mic, you know, just a goofy guy with the crazy outfit, right? And just running around stage and hyping it up, and it's fun. And it worked for a while. Worked for 3 years, being in band stuff though, and being the hype guy and networking and promo. You know, really being like, I'm just the guy waving the flag around, running around. Not really. A lot of people didn't realize how much I really put into that. The guys focused on music, and we would go around like the show. We would talk about the show and aesthetics. You know, we would have craft days. We have, you know, all that stuff, and practice 2-3 times a week and regularly. You know, it's tough having six. There was 6 of us at a time in a 10 by 10. You know, down at Pennington was Francisco Studios, right? And there was no, you know, playing 80%. They were loud. Even was just turn it up all the way, and Phil, loud, and echoing. Work at the airport, so it's like I'm already almost deaf. So, but it was good. I had earplugs in, protect your ears. But if it's too loud, it's too old. You're too old, right? Let's catch. Played with them for a while. We did all kinds of stuff. My first day was KFMA Day, so and it didn't slow down. We did State Fair, where I met Rob Halford. Rob Halford asked for my photo, but I said, well, get the whole band. There's only 2 photos I know of, and Rob Halford had a little cheap camera, you know, flip phone kind of style. So there's the band photo. It's all grainy and so. And then I managed to get a picture of Phil and Rob Halford. It's the only evidence that this actually went down. But played at the fair. We drowned out the monster trucks going right next door. It was great. The guy they didn't invite us back. It was a good sign. In a sense, they wanted us back, but like the owner was a little mad because we were really loud. Did that again at the Pima County Fair, where I was super sick. I was like 100 something it was like 102, it was 100. I was as hot as it was outside. It was like 100 and something outside. 5 o'clock, sun beating down, and you've seen our outfits. It was a little hot. Played in Mexico, went to New Mexico, El Paso, did Phoenix. Every venue in town. The Rock was like home. It is like home still. Well, it's a little smaller right now. Construction could be over here soon. COVID kind of came in at a good time, bad time, to like shut everything down so everything can get fixed. But man, it hurts not seeing it. And it put a lot of strain on a lot of bands, my band including. Well, not my band, but won't step on toes there. When we lost Dalton and Satch, we thought it was tough. They both left for a while. Dalton came back recently, but we changed the name to The Ruin, and COVID hit, so it was like a little bit of everything, and just like the shift all happened at once, and man, a lot of people fell off, a lot of people switched bands, but there's always been that community. There's still like, I still help out with everybody around, not as much as I used to because, there's not as many shows, but the crowd's kind of a little different too. The camaraderie isn't really there. The brotherhood that there once was. We were working on it. I remember when we were in the Stars Room and had the Ruin Fest. We'd get 10 bands together. And it was a pain in the ass doing that, but everybody would come in together and it would feel like that community. And that was building for a while. Break is doing that. He's trying to do that. He's trying to bring that old school community. We used to have hip hop and rock, playing together. Now it's like they don't stay on your side of the track, and I kind of miss that because there's a lot of, especially with new metal. Grew up with new metal, like having the rap and rock genres mixing together. So, that's why I like this. This is exciting. This captures it all. I'm excited to see all that.
For sure.
I'm coming in on the tail end. I'm excited. I didn't come in till 2012, 2013, something like that. But I would hear all kinds of stories. Stack would tell me stories. John, just all wild stories, right? Omar. God, you must have you guys had such a good time. Yeah. And I came in, kind of late on it, and I was more in the hip hop scene for a while. So, but I've seen both of those. He said, be kind of cutthroat, kind of not, best friends,
Well, just think about it.
Politics.
There's 23 years of stuff you missed.
Yeah.
That's going to be in this movie.
So 20 more. Well, almost 30. Well, you doing 90s or?
Oh yeah, from the 90s to now. But I mean, you came in 2013.
Well, 90s was only like 10 years ago, right?
2013. You kind of know from there to now.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so 20 years. I'm missing. Yeah, that's right. I see.
It's literally where I'm starting. So, yeah, you get to hear about all kinds of good things that happened back.
Oh, I hear all kinds of stories still too. I heard that you're not gonna be able to put on this, I'm sure. The good story.
Some good ones that you can put on. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's still. There's always their drama, there's cliques and stuff, and misunderstandings. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm right.
But that no hard feelings to everybody. Life's tough, especially now. The scene is definitely unique. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the Stands with Fists, the Glow show.
The Glow show, yeah, because that's basically where it all started for me. Like, I'm totally involved. It had to have been, because. Hearing about it is just like what you do. What you turn all the lights off, like black light and everything. Is this even you even allowed to do that? Oh yeah, paint, covering paint and neon paint. We just run around. There's guys on what was it, stilts and stuff, and yeah, sure, let's go. And it's exactly that, and then some. God, it's been probably 10, 15 of them. I've been to almost every one of them. I missed one. I was out of town, I believe, for a wedding, I believe. It was a family thing, right? So I kind of had to miss that one. But I've been to every one of them since 12 or 13 or whatever. And it's fun every time. It's great. Every time, even from the little stage, the old little stage at the Rock, which was horrific with us six on there and the outfits and the cables and stuff. All that was the new stage is great. I love it. And then it went from the Little Rock to the Rialto, and then they just played the amp. No, that was it was hard to keep up, right? They did. You guys did Knotfest, right? Yeah. Just the progression, everybody growing, so much fun. I might kind of.
Knotfest, we did the KFMA day. Well, it was fall ball.
Yeah, it was fall. Yeah.
Fall, that's what.
See, that's hard to keep up with those two. So the scene though is great. I remember being at a KFMA or a fall ball and one of the crowd or one of the bands, I think it was Paramore. They played one of their really soft songs, and we were pitting. Or 2 songs pitting, and nobody's getting hurt. I've never seen anybody get seriously hurt in a pit. And when they do, everybody comes together and carries them out. They're playing this soft song, and we're pitting heavy. And the guy like stops mid-song. I've never could imagine this. Tucson is so amazing with their pitting. Nobody's getting hurt. Everybody's taking care. Everybody's having respect. You guys are awesome. We're gonna come back all the time. We're gonna come back a bunch of. I've heard so many bands do that. Yeah. And it puts a lot of pride into it. So I could see why you guys would go through so much to bring a show like that. And it was even more inspiring to see artists come together and put on something so unique. The Glow Show, I was in the last one I was involved in. I got to be officially involved in the last. I had no idea what I was doing. Once again, it was almost like the first day back with the Sorrows, and threw my outfit together in last minute, which is half the fun. I went to John's house 2 days prior, a couple of days prior, and we sprayed mannequins. I don't know where John gets mannequins. He gets so many mannequins all the time. He gets rid of them, and then they come back, and it's crazy. My band was looking for a mannequin. Took us months. Couldn't find a single one of them, and when we did, it was missing an arm or something. John goes one weekend. I got 8 mannequins. One for everyone. He's gonna put one here, one for here, put that. We have hoses up to the ceilings, and like, let's do it. The eccentric artists and all of us. It's fun. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. We're gonna wing it. Spray painting, and I have to mimic the outfit a little bit because I was running around and I was the freed one, as I saw like I was being from the robots, and I jumped out into the crowd and I became human. Kind of just in my moment of what am I doing in this thing? Well, it's angelic and alien-esque, and we're all kind of like needing an escape and from the man, but the man is kind of a woman with wings and tentacles and like Geiger kind of looking stuff. But let's have the fun. And yeah, that was I can't wait for the next one. I want to be involved in the next one. John, I'm in the next one. Down. Glow shows.
So kind of tell me a little bit about, because you've been able to experience it as a fan and as participating in it, which is a unique experience. So, I've had that experience myself because I was in the band, and now I'm out of the band.
No, you're not. Now you're.
And before I was in the band, I saw many Glow shows before I was in the band. So
that's right.
I was around when they were born. So it's one of those things. It's different. What's your perspective on just experiencing it from 2 different sides?
Well, I wasn't comparing it. See, that was kind of like a mid ground between my time with the Ruin, because it was like a job at that point. We all took it very seriously when I was on stage, and I was keeping track of this, keeping track of that timing and the set list, and where's the merch at, and where's the drum key. I used to wear drum keys and pens, all kinds of stuff, just to make it easier. Stressful. When I was in the Glow show, I was still a fan, enjoying the show, doing my interpretive mosh, as I call it. I don't like crowd killing. That's dangerous. But just the monotonous kind of bumping around was kind of tiring after a while. I'm boring, so I do interpretive mosh. So I got to do that, and I love that. I love being a character. When I was the Herald, I had a mission. I knew the words, I knew the lyrics, so I could act it out and stuff. I know some of the songs, but they were playing new songs, so I couldn't just sing along. So I was just kind of running around being a crazy guy. But it was free, you know, like I don't have to follow anything. I wasn't like hired to do it. None of us were really hired to do anything. I struggle, but I don't need to be paid. You know, the adrenaline rush and the getting it out, the energy, the crowd, the vibing and everything is just so, you don't have to pay me. You know, so I did so much. It's expensive going that route though. I spent a lot of money on a lot of stuff. You've seen my shirts. I have decade worth of shirts in there. But I've lost them. I've lost at least that many. You know, crazy girlfriends. Or, hey, that's mine. Or, you know, but being a fan and like enjoying it's I don't miss it. I don't. It's because it's definitely different. I'm not just a fan anymore. I'm a lot more analytical about it. Like, man, why don't we have like a better set? You know, it's so much easier if you do it this, you know, or why can't we have a table over here? I don't have to worry. It's the prices. I know you're gouging your drinks and like all that kind of stuff. Seeing it's like watching too much Bar Rescue, and then you go into the restaurant. It's kind of like that for the band, right? Still fun though, but I am more of a hater of the guy with the phone. Like I said earlier, watching it through their phone, broken screen. Not one to talk. I did it all the time. We're watching it through that, and horrible. Like it's all over. Like you watch them later the next day, and the video is garbage. I usually end up just deleting it anyway. Rather than just watching it. Like that never bothered me, but now it bothers me a lot. That's why I like the glow shows. You have like a very no flash photography, very minimal like filming. You know, you don't want to be that guy with the bright screen, you know, killing the vibe of everything. That's very unique. I like that. I wish that was more of a thing. And I've kind of noticed it's died down a lot because people aren't getting out as much. So when they are, they're taking it in more. I think that's. Or the people are just too afraid to break their phones. My phone was a champ though. I went through so many mosh pits. So, it was in my pocket every time.
Real quick question about, because you when you came into the scene, you were a fan of more mainstream. What are your thoughts about the differences between what you thought local music was and now experience what it is?
Well, see, and I never grew up, I never played an instrument, so I never had a lot to go on other than it's your stereotypical, what you see on like the guys and kids in his room playing on a little amp or just playing, and he has another buddy who does it in his garage with the drums, and another guy who fills on the we're going to get together and make a band, and never goes anywhere. They never coordinate or they never learn music or whatever, and come to find that that's very common. A lot of people don't write music and they make great songs. So when coming in and seeing the unity and everything, that took me back. Like we're all struggling artists. So instead of like the guy in his room doing it, it was actually more, hey, let's all get together and like, I have a side band. Let's do it. Let's fake it till we make it, kind of thing. And we could perform here, or we'll do it here at my uncle's house, or, you know, it was more of a community than I ever really thought, because I never really paid attention to music at that point. I was more into football and wrestling, and then it became MMA, and then life, you know, for a while, and then finding that I came in not blind, but I was kind of more into hip hop, I guess, at that time, because Stack was taking me to his show and hanging out with him a lot, and I'm a fan of a lot of music. Starting out, I hated all kinds of music. Now I love all music as long as it has a good message. I listen to everything. A lot of foreign stuff, you know, Shepherd's Rain, Rammstein, and a bunch of guys. Alien Weaponry that was just here from New Zealand. That was a good show. Anyway, so I got a little sidetracked there. Just reminiscing is fun, and it's so fun getting
Yeah.
So I could go on so many tangents, and everybody knows I go on tangents. I'm sorry. This is so much to talk about. You know.
Is there any one particular story that you can think of that may stand out amongst all the others that you're like, oh, this one thing happened, I'll never forget it, kind of thing?
Outside of my experience with the band,
inside it with
because me and Rob Halford, and we went to Detonation.
That's an awesome story, but things like that.
That one will always stick out. Rob Halford asked me for a photo. That's always cool. We went to Detonation. That was cool.
Did Star Wars Ruin go into the radio station and play?
We did. The acronym. I was just looking at the shirt too. Uncle Joe. Yeah, we played a couple of our songs on it because we were promoting for Ruin Fest, or it might have been Fire Fest.
I think you probably, when you won the battle, to play the
KFMA. I don't know if we did KFMA. Did we go into KFMA?
You would have gone in and played an acoustic set in their.
I wasn't there for that.
Oh, but
I think they were there, and I wasn't there yet because I wasn't introduced until KFMA Day, the day of, or Fall Ball, whatever.
It was Fall Ball.
Yes. That was my first official day, just impromptu. Hey, surprise. It was
just any kind of like story.
That was first date. Jumping on that. That was good. I'm trying to think outside of that though, because it's more interesting as a fan and involved. The town roadie, I guess, the jester.
Did you go on the road with those guys at all?
Yeah, I mean we went to Mexico, where it started in a dirt lot, but it was like backyard. We were driving through a neighborhood and pulled into this big lot. It looked like should have been a house there, but it wasn't. We're gonna perform here. All right, hey, this is kind of what we're going for, right? Give it 2 hours. It was they brought in pallets for like a riser. They had a riser. They had laser lights. They had big They had taped off, or not taped off. They plastic against the chain link in the front. They had door guys. They had all kinds. It was a nightclub. In 2 hours, these guys. It was Agua Puerta. Went to it, and it was that blew me away. I was like, man, the community of like bringing in a show, and we're like, hey, well, we might just be the naive gringos here, but aren't the cops going to be called for this? Oh yeah, they come, they show up, they have a beer, then they leave. We had the army came down once. The cartel were all like, watch the place, like nothing goes down, nothing crazy. They're like, you guys are the ones that are, crazy out there. You guys have. You don't have guards at your school. You have guns going, school shootings. And you don't have a guard there. And all this stuff. Wow, it is kind of crazy. Culture shock. That was fun. Then we went to. That was part of our tour. We went to El Paso. It was kind of a nightmare. Nobody even showed up till like 9 p.m. We were supposed to go on at 10. There was like 3 bands we were supposed to go. We went from there to New Mexico. Always good times in New Mexico. The crowd up there, was just wild old biker type dudes that rolled metal head, old hair band guys, and they're aggressor. Good times there. Then we went to Phoenix for the state fair, where Rob Halford asked me for a photo. That was, never forget. Where did we go from? It's so much. It was so much so fast because we did so much in. I don't even think I was there for a full 3 years before.
Were you in their music video?
No, I was not. That's what really got me involved. Like I went up, gave me like the motivation to ask me, hey man, I got this outfit. Like I wish you knew because they just premiered it shortly after I met them, and I was actually like the icebreaker to talk to even in them. Talked to Satch at shows, but never really talked to like Dalton. And I was like intimidated by him at that point. Now I know the secrets though. It's so much so fast, and it was about 3 years. Yeah.
Have you been any local bands music videos?
No. Stack, I've been in Stacks a couple. I'm like a little cameo in there a couple of times. I was always behind the scenes. I helped with Rascals videos, a couple of Rascals when I was with Nate Nisa, doing Urgent Designs. Not sure if that's still a thing or not.
I don't know.
I think Issa's doing that. I don't know what Nathan's doing. Everybody's moving so fast.
Nathan's in Phoenix.
I think he might have moved. Anyway, side tangents. Who else? Stands with Fist. We shot Stands with Fist video that never ended up coming out. Helped with Reflections with Swindy. Helped with a lot. Always behind the scenes. Never really helped. The one I helped with Stack, where I was the cop and I was arresting him, and then we just did the all-in video where they went Reservoir Dogs style, and they kidnap the cop and they torture him and they cut his ear off. And so I cameoed back in that. But I've been in the background a lot. A couple, I might be in some background, live video. I'm always there right in the front there. I always catch myself in some videos. I shot a lot for Fall to Break when they were when POD came to the fair. I filmed a lot of that and never ended up using. You get a lot of film you never end up using. But no, I haven't really been in there. Always wanted to, though. Growing up, always wanted to be doing music video, watching TRL and what was the VH1, like, was it kind of like TRL, is like the countdown, all those back when music videos were the thing. Beavis and Butthead had the whole show was about music videos and ragging on it. And back when music videos were really thought out and told a story, like along with the lyrics, back when they really meant something. Nowadays they got all this mumbo bumbo, and the guys, I don't know, get into it, horrible videos and stuff now. But always wanted to do that. Always wanted to be a costume designer. Wanted to be cinematography, and so that's why I fell in love with the band. I got to do a little bit of all of it. Never had a camera though. Spent all my money on the outfits and stuff. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Never focused on one thing. Being in the band gave me the one thing to focus on, and there's a lot, and way too much for one person to do. And the guys, they helped here and there. Some of the guys did, some of the guys didn't. It was tough though, to give you real good appreciation for what it takes to be in a band and be a successful band. Anybody be in a band. I didn't even play an instrument. I got in a band somehow. You play the skin flute? Nope. But I did. But when I was like, how long is this gonna last? I'm gonna be a glorified roadie guy, just get a guy who runs around on stage every once in a while. Then I saw there's a lot, so much that there's a whole nother job. There's a whole crew. That's why people have street crews and road crews and stuff. They don't have. I don't know what happened to that. I haven't seen one of those in a minute. But it takes a community to do it. And I see why rappers do it just solo, or they have a big management, big production, like taking care of the one person. Hip hop is like that. Country is kind of like that. Or it's like the band and it's all community. And there's no real gray area. So that's where I think where selling out comes. But when we're in the band, we're like, yeah, selling out. Oh, 5 Finger Death Punch sold out, all the way to the bank. Sign us up. You still find all the heavy stuff. We still have heavy stuff, but just making a CD and selling merch and getting things together and the price ratios and the overhead of that, and you gotta sit on your investment for a while, and not everybody wants what you're looking for. Some people want it and you can't get it. We pioneered the hat that I wanted with the handprint on there. That was a nightmare, but it worked out. 7 heads. Tony, she pulled it off, and she's like, I don't know how that's even possible. We're gonna do it until we get it right. Thanks for the challenge. Welcome. And I had a bunch of ideas, but then I see the practicality. I'm like, wow, there's You can't just be having lanyards and lighters and shot glasses. And I mean, you can, but it takes a lot of people. You know, if it wasn't for Tony, who was kind of an entrepreneur and that, like, you know, she wants to do this, wants to do that. I think she said wants to do glass etching now, and it's little ventures, and you can narrow it down, but it's almost impossible. Definitely have a bit better respect for that in that sense of what it takes to be a mix. It's not just, you know. So when people show up for just the one band and then they leave early, or when's the set list? When are you on? Are you curtain jerking? Are you headlining? Or, oh, I'm only gonna go if they're headlining. Or no, man, so much goes into being in a band that just to even be on stage is impressive. And I lucked out, way lucked out. But I mean, otherwise, I was just the guy running around the pits and dropping his phone here and there.
So let's kind of maybe wrap up the end of it here. Kind of maybe, is there any lessons? You kind of went through a lot of things that you learned, you know, during this time. But is there anything that, like, piece of advice or something that you may have learned that you could give somebody who maybe is a fan of a band, other than don't use your phone? So
yeah, don't do the phone thing. It's you might think it looks cool. You might be, you know, look at the video I got last night on my TikTok. The people behind you, it's for the people behind you, because it's kind of like this right now. The lights, I haven't been in front of the lights like this in a while, so I'm like blinking. It's distracting, you know. And it distracts the band. You know, if somebody in front is distracted by something else, it spreads, and you can definitely read the crowd. That was kind of my job. If you see that, go in there, start mosh pits, and put your phones down, you know, kind of thing. It was kind of fun. That might be why I don't like it more. Put your phones down. So there's side tangents. I'm getting lost again. Oh, sorry. Get me back on track.
Just any kind of lessons.
The lesson. Other than the phone, that's where it was. Other than the phone, I knew you were gonna ask me this one too. Bands. I got some for bands. Wireless stuff, obvious stuff like investments. Nothing like having just a rat's nest of cables. And tripping over it, it breaks your stage presence down. Just get rid of the cables if you can. Just go. Inner ear monitors, investments, the money. Don't put the money in like, let's get 300 shirts with the same your logo thing. Everybody's got that. Get a design. Hire your buddy. Everybody's got that community. Hire your buddy. Draw up something cool. Print it out. You can print it out at Walmart. They have little things. Cut it cheap on that, but invest in the big things. The big thing. Inner ear monitors, wireless stuff, and roadies. Respect your roadies. Fans, the phone thing. Support them. Buy that merch. Even if you have, you know, oh, I already got their shirt. Get another one, or tell them, hey, get new stuff. Give them advice. You know, like, I want stuff for girls. You get stuff for girls. That was great. I mean, I finally had the girls like, tell them, and then we finally got me sold out at girl shows. Those pink, those things were hotcakes. And I think everybody be more like involved, be more in tune. You know, practice is important, and like knowing your songs, writing, and all that. But knowing your fans and being involved in your fans, you know, engaging in your fans. That's very important, because you're not going to go anywhere if nobody knows who you are. You'd be the best musician in the world. If you got 10 people that show up to your show, and they're your girlfriends and your parents and stuff, you're never going to go anywhere. So invest in your fans. We had Ruin Fest, 10 bands, $10 all day. We had cookout. We had $5 plates. That was for like our appreciation to the fans. Everything was just like bring it together for a nice cheap show that everybody can enjoy, and always reached out to them like, what do you want to see next? What do you want to see next? And a lot of them had some crazy ideas. The piñata was cool. I remember the piñata. You know what? The piñata. Now I think of it, the piñata. The first piñata we had was the man. It was huge to me, like 7 foot tall man, blue suit, no face. We wrote enemy on it, the enemy, whatever it was, and we said, even it was great with the speech at the time, sounded good then, at least, I don't know, there's always kind of blurry in those shows. And so this is your enemy, whatever, this is your heartache, whatever's holding you back, whatever's, troubling you, your boss, your whatever. This is them. And on the breakdown of Row, which is, those who know, threw it into the crowd, and it was just a Tasmanian devil tear something up, and it's like this smoke and this commotion and things going up all over the place. It was like that, and me and Eben stopped, and we're like, he's like, and we looked at each other, and we're like, whoa, that was crazy. And there was nothing left of this thing. This thing was, I think the biggest piece was like this big after that. That was cool. I'll coin that. That's still with my band though. I don't know, whatever. Well, then the glow shows top, like those are great. I can't pick one though. I'm coming back with that answer with you later on that one. Advice to vendors, maybe the venues and stuff. Not the same band every weekend. Go ahead and like reach out to other people. I say that lighthearted because I hear The Rock is now having like karaoke nights and country nights. I don't know how I feel about that. But broadening out, expanding out, and that's another thing. Bands, don't oversaturate yourself. Give them something, you can leave them something more. Leave them wanting more. As any good performer says. I think anyway. I'm not a good performer. I don't know. I just run around like a crazy guy. Camera guys. Bobby, I saw, went out there with his camera on his hip, and he was in the mosh pits. That thing was bouncing around. That guy's an animal. You can go that route, or you can like set up an area. I like how you set up an area, or otherwise you got to have like a crew of people around you, bumpers. I try to be a bumper when I'm in the crowd because I know I don't want to drop that. Like these cameras are expensive, right? Don't be like, hey, don't be moshing around me with my $3,000 camera. Those guys are crazy in there. You might drop something. Just be fair now is all I'm saying. I think that's everybody, right? The venue, the crowd, the media. Play nice, listen to everybody's opinion. They are like a-holes, but they don't all stink. Not mine anyway, mine smell like roses.
That's it. I think we probably got everything there. Unless there's anything else you can think you want to say.
No.
Awesome.
I have so much to that I could I'm surprised I stayed on focus as well as I did because I can go on tangents all day.
There'll always be something. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off now.
10 years of the wildness. Can't just combine in this. This is like a 12-part miniseries, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got